Hi guys, welcome to this session. Get going in a second. You see my workout is paused, so don't panic. Just going to give you a little bit of time to get ready before we start the workout. This session we've got a nice high intensity session. Got a long warm up. Start in a second. This is the short track efforts. Talk here a little bit about what all this is about in a second. So, right, let's get ready to go in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're starting the workout. So we've got a nice long 15-minute warm-up for this one. Okay, you'll see we're going up in 3-minute steps, working through zone 2. So plenty of time to relax, plenty of time to talk, keep the fluids coming on board. So it's a high intensity set, this one. I'll talk you through the session very quickly. It's actually quite a complicated one to talk through. So I'll give you the general gist first, before we go into the specifics, because you might not remember the specific. So we've got the long 15-minute warm-up, building up every 3 minutes by about 6 to 10 watts. Then we've got 3 rounds of our kind of activation exercise, activation sets, or our fast pedaling efforts. So they actually ramp up. So you've got 15 seconds at 80%, kicking up to 15 seconds at 110% before a minute of easy riding in between. You've got 3 of those rounds. They're all about getting the fast twitch muscle fibers going and lifting your default cadence. So the focus on those efforts is going to be on maintaining a really nice high cadence. We'll then settle in to a tempo riding sector for 5 minutes. So that'll be 80% of FTP for 5. Before we lift it a touch up to sweet spot and then really get into it. So we've got these, what I'm calling short track efforts. Basically kind of, I don't know, sort of, I think I was watching a lot of mountain biking at the time when I made this session. But basically we're kind of, just looking to try and pull sort of the type of efforts you do in like in a race. So the 2 conditioning rounds are the same, but they're very much anaerobic. So I'll run through it. I'm not going to give you percentages of FTP, because it's basically just anaerobic. Okay, so it's going to be 30 seconds recovery, 1 minute, 45 seconds recovery, 1 minute at tempo, and then 1 minute anaerobic, 45 seconds recovery, 30 seconds anaerobic, 30 seconds recovery. Yeah, good luck if you got all that. And then there's another 30 seconds at the end, which I missed. So even reading it, I'm getting confused. Anyway, you got those sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anaerobic efforts with kind of varying amounts of recovery in between. You then have a nice recovery sector before we get back into the tempo, sweet spot, and anaerobic efforts. So this is very much an erg mode on session, okay? It's very complicated. We just want to be anaerobic, not too fussed about peak powers or anything like that. It's more about just kind of shaking you up a little bit, with some sporadic anaerobic work with kind of varying levels of recovery. Much like in a race, you know, you don't get to choose the length of your recovery or the length of the efforts. You just do what you got to do, basically. Okay, so that's what we're up to. Erg mode on for this. You shouldn't have too much of an issue in terms of leg speed or anything. So hopefully this will be a complicated, but in some respects relatively straightforward session, hopefully. So just relaxing now. In our discussion, which we're going to start in a second, I'm just going to talk to you about the basics of aerodynamics. Now, some of you guys might know a fair amount. I'm hoping just going to give it a little bit to kind of keep it interesting for you. But yeah, we are going to talk about the basics. We're coming out to racing season for our triathletes in particular. Lots of chat about TT bikes, triathlon bikes, etc. So just want to bump up your knowledge a touch. So let's get into it, shall we? Still just cruising around. Got another 6, 9, 10.5 minutes. So let's see if we can cover all this in warm-up. So aerodynamics in cycling, or aerodynamic resistance, i.e. drag. That's the force that we have to overcome. Not so much indoors, of course, but even on an indie velo, you know, it's got its aerodynamics algorithms. And so yeah, that's a line share. You know, there are obviously things like rolling resistance, drive chain inefficiency, etc., etc. There are other things that we have to reduce energy to overcome. Aerodynamic resistance, air resistance, is the primary. Okay. So there's a few different types of drag though. So you got I think probably the obvious one, air resistance as we think about it. So this is, you know, pushing the rider and the bike through the air, and you know, streamlined position as possible reduces that resistance. Okay. Now, the sort of common, most modern philosophy on sort of aerodynamic streamlined positioning, it's not just about getting low. It's more and more about getting narrow, and it's all about how you encourage airflow around the rider. Get into that a little bit more. But air resistance, you know, pushing an object through the air, that's the big one. Now, surface friction is one you may not know too much about, or skin friction drag. There's not just your skin, it's your clothing as well. And this is basically caused by the air and your clothing and skin, and how air moves over the surface. And so, if the air gets caught, so to speak, and it slows down, it creates friction, etc., and that slows you down. So, the smoother and the tighter the clothing, the less resistance you'll likely encounter. So that's why skin suits, etc., are designed to not only kind of be really tight, but also reduce skin friction by being very smooth, encouraging a smooth passage of air over the body, minimalising turbulence, which we'll talk about in a second. And one of the things you might immediately want to ask about or think about is like special coatings and dimples. You'll hear it a lot watching the Tour de France, although many of us can't even watch the Tour de France anymore. Now it's behind a ridiculous paywall. Topic for another time. But yeah, this is just kind of like a pretty standard jersey, but on my race suits, I've got the sleeves, they've got like little dimples in them, little ridge lines, and that is about minimising turbulence and skin friction. Similar to how golf balls are dimpled, that's to help reduce drag and manage airflow. And then of course you've got shaving your skin, which has more of an effect than you think. If you think about your legs, they're sort of like, they're quite big elements of your body, and if it's covered in hair, that is going to cause friction as the air passes over. So yeah, shaving your legs actually can be quite significant. And that kind of brings us on to turbulence or weight drag. And this is where air moves around the cyclist and kind of creates turbulence behind them. And that turbulence kind of holds the rider back, kind of sucks the rider back. And this is because basically what happens, like the high speed air moving around you separates, and it creates like an area of low pressure behind you. And the larger or less aerodynamic a rider's position, the more turbulence is generated, increasing drag obviously. So you're maintaining an aerodynamic position is a big one here, minimising the drag and channeling the air in certain ways. Things like aero helmets, TT bars, etc. They really help minimize turbulence. But a big aspect of turbulence is also staying still. That's something I'm going to talk about in a minute. But yeah, if you're constantly moving, you can see how the air flowing over you will also be moving and separating, and that creates drag, basically. So I'm just going to put my fan on, and just bear with me a second. So, going to open the door. Actually, surprisingly warm today, although out walking the dog, it was anything but. Yeah. Apologies, my workout might have just paused there for a second, but there shouldn't be too much of a impact. Probably should have just paused it myself. If you're worried about being exact, I just want to pause the workout. For if you're on Training Peaks Virtual, you just go to the bottom, just pause that, and then try and stick back up with me. So sorry about that. I don't think it's really a session where it makes too much difference. So we talked about the types of drag. How do we optimize it? Well, the rider's body accounts for generally somewhere around 70 to 80% of aerodynamic drag. So, as I said earlier, it's not just about getting lower, it's about getting narrower. You really want to reduce that frontal profile. So you're kind of not necessarily spearing, but it's kind of like you're sort of moulding the air around you. Okay, so you think about your hands, if you're on a TT bike, they're the furthest thing forwards. So you want them together, then the elbows in, and all of this, depends what the race you're doing. I mean, triathlon, I'll talk about in a second, but full TTs, you're right in, hands in front of your face. There are laws on this, just FYI, in terms of the angle of stem and aero bars. So if you're going aggressive, make sure you check the laws. If you're doing any TTs, triathlon is much more loose. But if you're doing a time trial, you might get pinged if the angle of your bars, I want to say 15%, I can't remember, but there are laws in it, so be careful. Yeah, your body position, reduce drag, not just getting low, that can have its negatives, which we'll talk about in a second. Really want to get narrow. So your road bikes, one of the things I'm looking at the moment is narrower handlebars and angled hoods, and that's to get me a bit narrower when I'm doing crits and stuff. Equipment selection generally can be quite important. Just remember 70 to 80% is the rider though. Okay, so aero helmets, aero bikes, deep section wheels that reduce turbulence, skin suits, etc. They all have an input, but compared to your body position, it is minimal. So start with the body position, optimize that, then start to think about all the cool stuff. And just one thing on aero helmets, it's really personal. So I just saw last week, I think it might be Wow or not. Is it Wow? Can't remember, one of the big names. They're using an old generation helmet because it just suits their body better. It all comes down to lines. So when you're in a TT position, how well the fin of the helmet then molds into your back, etc. That's really important. So the most expensive TT helmet might not be good for you. It's all personal. There are some helmets that test generally better than others, and it's not just the expensive ones, by the way. Okay, some of the cheaper ones generally test better for an amateur. So talk to me about that if you want to. But yeah, prioritise the body position. And drafting you'll know about, coming up to 20-30% reduction. A couple of things that you might not have thought of though is your pedaling technique. and how still you are. So pedaling, if you've got a really erratic pedaling stroke, you're speeding up and slowing down all the time, that can disrupt airflow. Whereas you're nice and smooth, nice and rhythmical, you get much more settled flow of air around your legs. And similarly, if you're on the aero bars, etc., or down the drops, you can be as aerodynamic as you like, but if it's super uncomfortable, you're going to move a lot. And this is going to increase your drag. So in particular for triathletes, there's a real balance to be struck between being aero and your ability to hold that position the entire race distance. Okay? So 5 seconds, moving up to bottling efforts. Here we go. So spinning up well above 100 RPM. Last 2 seconds. Yeah, so being able to stay still and comfortable is really significant for triathletes. Oh, sorry, it's a rise, isn't it? Keep going. Sorry. Now you can relax. Yeah, so if you're not well conditioned in your position, you're not comfortable, it really hamper not just your aerodynamics on the bike, and also your running economy off the bike. So when you're in a sort of aero TT position, you're closing that angle between your thigh and your stomach, your hip angle. And what that can do is load up your back, your hamstrings. And so when you get to the run, you can cramp, basically. So make sure you're comfortable in the first place with your setup, but then spend a lot of time in there. Okay? That's absolutely vital. Anyway, let's focus on the session now, because I've already cocked up twice. Right, next horse pedaling round, here we go. So lifting it, that cadence, above 100 RPM. And then we lift it again. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Up we go. 10. 3, 2, 1, and relax. So keep the fluids coming on board. Come on, guys. Spinning up about 65% of FTP. Trying to bring cadence back above 80. About 20 seconds, then we go to the third and final round of fast filling efforts. Ready? Here we go then. Filling up at sort of tempo sweet spot level. We're spinning up now. Good. A little bit anaerobic, a little bit VO2e. Last 2 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Right then. So we're just chilling now for a minute. Then we go up to tempo, 80% of FTP for 5 minutes. Then 2 minutes at sweet spot before we get into the anaerobic stuff. Okay, I won't bother going through the anaerobic stuff. Just know there's 5 anaerobic efforts in each round. Somewhere between 30 seconds and a minute long. Okay, and both rounds are the same. So you get through the first one and you'll know what you're in for. Fine. Double checking that. Okay, so lift the power, lift the cadence. Let's try and stay above about 85 RPM. But we're at 80% of FTP. Just feel like a 6 out of 10 in terms of effort. Right, guys. Try to keep the fluids coming on board, because once we get into those anaerobic efforts, it'll be hard to do so. Try and relax. So draw the shoulders away from the ears, chin up. Shake out the arms and stuff, relax the hands. Keep that cadence nice and high. Upwards of 85 RPM. Do your best to kind of spin through this tempo and sweet spot effort. So coming up to 2 minutes down, ready to go at tempo. Try and stay relaxed. Yeah, just have a little think about that area of stuff. It's a big element of our sport, but for every rider it's different in terms of how much time and money they spend on it. Okay, don't just rush out and buy all the expensive stuff, because it might make minimal difference. Really, the best investment you can make in terms of your positioning is time and enlisting expertise. So a good bike fitter. And trust me, not all bike fitters are built equal. They, like any industry, have specialisms. Some might be really good at race tuning. Then others are really good at diagnosing fit problems, fit issues. Okay, so do your research. I've got a few recommendations, but it is definitely something worth investing in. It's being comfortable on your bike, as I've discovered in the last few weeks, as I picked up a little bit of a knee issue. Being comfortable on your bike, it really impacts your mood. Or put it another way, being uncomfortable really impacts your mood. And your desire to be on the bike. Fortunately, so far I'm feeling pretty good in this session, but I won't lie, I was pretty nervous about and sort of procrastinating about getting on the bike because I've been so uncomfortable recently. Fingers crossed, get through okay. Right, last minute tempo, then we've got sweet spot, then we go anaerobic. Steady for now. Cadence upwards of 85 RPM. Try and relax. Shoulders down. Up to 30. We're going to take up a notch. 10 seconds. Okay, up to sweet spot we go. So increase the cadence, allow power to feed in, and then let's settle 90% of FTP. Let's keep the cadence above 90 RPM. 2 minutes here. So it should feel like a 7 out of 10. Keep telling yourself to relax. Sweet spot is very much a time trialing effort. So let's just practice keeping the elbows narrowing. Relaxing the shoulders still. Chin up. These are the little things in terms of aerodynamics you can feed into your normal riding. This one small one is not riding like this. Keep the elbows tucked in and stay relaxed in the hands. Okay, just keep thinking about your frontal profile, keeping it narrow. You know, it doesn't take any energy to do that. Just a bit of concentration every now and then. But immediately you're reducing that profile quite significantly. Okay, 30 seconds. Go anaerobic. Okay, ready? 10. Okay, ready to go? 5. Staying in erg mode. 2, 1. 30 seconds. 20. 15. Last 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Okay, not long to recover though. Got a minute coming up. Ready? Three, 2, 1. Five. Last 30. 20. 15. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo. Come on, guys. Then just spinning up. That's 2 sprints down. For another minute and a half. Here we go again. Then 20 seconds. Bring up to tempo. It'll be uncomfortable. Just to hopefully continue recovery. Ready? Okay. Up to tempo. 80% of FTP. Alright, stay relaxed. And keep the recovery coming. Okay. For another long 1 minute anaerobic effort. And then just 2 30-second efforts. Just 2 30-second efforts. And then we're done for this round. Okay, 15. You ready, guys? One more long effort. Here we go.
I'm just kidding.
45.
I just can't just party. I might just get lucky, 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 lucky. Might just get a chance. I'm just kidding.
30.
I just can't just party. I might just get lucky, 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 lucky.
20.
Just get a chance.
Last 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo. All right, guys. Chin up. Cover. We go again for 30 and 30. 2 more left.
Lucky, 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 lucky. Might just get a chance. I'm just getting dance. I just can't just party.
Let's go in 10.
I might just get lucky, 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 lucky. Might just get a chance.
3, 2, 1. Here we go. Penultimate effort.
Might just get lucky, 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 lucky. Might just get a
20. Halfway.
just party.
10.
Might just get lucky, 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 lucky. Might just get a
5 all the way to 10. 4, 3, 2, 1.
I got that flow, I got that swag, I got that that your mama wish she had. I take it slow,
Right, one more round.
somehow you still last. So if you want that glow, you better relax.
Here we go. Last round. 3, 2, 1. Finish off, guys. 20. 15. Yeah. 10.
I got that swag, I got that that your mama wish she had.
4, 3, 2,
Somehow you still
and 1.
last. So if you want
Oh,
that glow, you better relax.
okay, let's go in. I've been off the bike for a while. Whew. Get your breath back. Got your breath back. Start to pick up your leg speed. Get back above 80. Well done, guys. So you know what you're in for now. Oh, I see the starter points there. Those 1 minute efforts are tough. So, you just got to remember, you'll really force yourself to be as efficient as possible between now and those 1 minute efforts. Okay? Try and conserve as much energy as possible. Basically, don't do anything wasteful, at least on turbo. You don't have to think about aerodynamics. But you think about your pedaling economy, not restricting your airways, sitting back on the saddle so your glutes are really engaged. That stuff. If you are really struggling, like I'm very much on the edge here. But don't be afraid to turn erg mode off. If you're finishing sort of the 1 minute efforts in sort of 50, 60 RPM, definitely consider getting erg mode off. So you'll still be able to hit the power, no doubt, with a nice high leg speed. But just erg mode is just kind of asking for a bit too much consistency in your power delivery. And that's what erg mode is basically. It wants to create perfectly smooth power delivery. And some days that's just not what you're about. So don't be afraid. Got to flick it on and off. I'm going to turn it off, and you're on Training Peaks. Turn it to F to fixed mode. That'll simulate a perfect flat gradient. And then just use your gearing. And don't think about it too much. Just go hard for a minute, 45 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. Okay? 15. We're going back up to tempo for 5 minutes, so you should be able to still recover over this tempo effort. It will be a bit more uncomfortable doing so, but if your cadence is good, well above 85 RPM, here we go, and you're staying relaxed, you'll continue to recover. What we don't want is you to recover too much, basically. We are essentially simulating race scenario, and it's rare for you to get a full 3 minute roll out like we just did then. More often, it's recovering at this sort of level. So, stay focused, stay true to the scenario, get that cadence upwards of 85, upwards of 85 RPM. Let's spin through this and the sweet spot sector, and then get stuck in again. Do you like this jersey bit? Kind of rolls back on itself at the bottom. Stay steady, stay composed. Guys, just keep telling yourself to relax. You have to do it over and over again, I'm afraid. If you're going to be anything but, I suspect. Next shot. Back above 85, please. Right on, guys. We're up to halfway through this tempo sector. Last 2 minutes coming up. We're going to crank it up for 2, and then we hit it for 30. Stay patient, don't worry if you're still feeling it in your legs. Hope they'll come back to you in time. If you're really struggling, don't be afraid to get the leg mode off. Make sure you have a quality session rather than being a slave. Focusing on the last 90 at tempo. Last minute, we take a step up.
Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and down. Elevator up, down, up, down,
Yeah.
up, down, up, and down. Elevator up and down, up and down, up and down, up and elevator.
This shit hot.
25. Then we're going to take it up a notch. Get ready, guys. Make sure your caden's nice and high before the rise.
Because you want it, don't need permission because you already own it. Don't need to fake it because you want it.
10 seconds.
Permission because you already own it, own it. Bring me back, back, you can bring me back. Bring me back, back, you
Yeah, sweet spot we go. 90% of FTP.
can bring me back. Bring me back,
2 minutes.
bring me back. Bring me back, 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 back.
Cadence upwards to 90. Let's do this, guys.
Down, up, down,
Yeah.
up, down, up, and down. Elevator up and down, up and down, up and down, up and elevator.
This shit
10
hot.
seconds. Nearly there. Then kick.
Take it because you want it. Don't need permission because you already own it. Don't need to fake it because you want it. Don't need permission because you already own it, own it. Bring me back, back, you can bring me back.
Focus in the last minute.
You can bring me back. Bring me back, back, you can bring me back.
Here we go then. Right, so we've just got 5 sprints.
Bring me back, back, back.
5 anaerobic efforts. And then we're done. 5. Then we kick for the first one.
Bring me, bring me, bring me back.
30. Get ready, guys. Shoulders down. Yeah, that's as possible beforehand. 15. 10. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Here we go, first 30. 20. 1/2. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, just 30 seconds recovery. So try and get the legs turning. Five seconds. 2, 1. Here we go. We vibe. Last 30, guys. Okay, 20. 15. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo. Twenty seconds. We go to 10 for a minute. And then we hit that second and final 1 minute effort. We're so close now, guys. This is the big one. Let's smash it. And then we're on to the home straight. So, start with tempo effort. Build up to around 80% of FTP. Seconds. Let's get ready to go for this long old minute for the final time. Right, ready to go. In 10 seconds, guys. Okay, big 1 minute effort, guys. Approaching halfway. There we are, 30 seconds, come on, dig in. Okay, 20. 15. Box 10, push. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo. Spin up. It's got 45 seconds. And it's a short 30. There's 2 efforts left, guys. I know you're tired. Let's keep going. Right on, guys. 10 seconds. An ultimate effort. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Come on, 30 seconds. Twenty. 15. 10. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. One more left. Ready there. Okay, 10 seconds. Then we go for the final time. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big last 30. $20. Big last 10, come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Well done, guys. Oh, man. An aggressive reintroduction to recycling for me. Well done, guys. Yeah, spin up. So there you go, guys. That, I think, is a good reflection of what the latter stages, well, the start and the latter stages of a crit are like. Everyone's kicking out corners, chasing down brakes, etc., chasing down wheels. It's just brutal. And you're snatching recovery when you can. And it kind of brings you back onto aerodynamics. You're doing that, you know, on the drops, elbows tucked in, hopefully sitting behind a great big arse. You're going to save energy. And then just hope you have the confidence you're stronger than the other guy, or girl, or woman. Yeah. So well done, guys. Just remember that aerodynamics. You got your wind resistance, you've got your skin friction, you got your turbulence. Okay, you want to try and address those. How much money and time you spend on it depends on your approach. Just remember, start with the body position. Get yourself narrow, but do it with expertise. Don't try not to do it on your own. You know, I know quite a lot about bike fitting and aerodynamics. I don't do bike fit on my own because that's what caused my little knee issue. Is me tinkering with my position. You know, I know exactly what I'm doing. But trying to actually do that to yourself, hopping on and off the bike, maybe filming yourself, etc. It's a recipe for disaster, guys. I would just see it as a really worthwhile investment. You're saving energy, free energy basically. Energy saved without having to do any extra work. So really worthwhile investment, and more than anything, that bike fit hopefully get you comfortable, particularly for the triathletes. Just remember there is a real trade-off. Time saved on the bike in a super aggressive position can be lost and more in a destroyed in a rubbish run. So I managed to pause the workout somehow. Anyway, so that's pretty much the end of me, guys, in terms of talking. I'll see you next week, but hopefully enjoy your week, guys. And if you've got any questions, anything I've talked about, just ping me a message or drop one in the WhatsApp group and I can address it there for the benefit of everyone. But yeah, really well done, guys. That's a tough old set. I had to get erg mode off towards the end, and actually it really helps, I think, at times, because erg mode is not only great, it's great for producing a power, but in the recovery intervals, you know, where if you just need a second at the end of a sprint, just catch your breath before you start turning the pedals over, and it's still got you pinned at 90 RPM and 45% of FTP. It's tough. But well done, guys. Have a lovely week. See you next week.